Okay, well this is a good one. All right, 8-day 3 trinomial factoring. What? It's a little different. Number 1, like the last lesson, we're going to go forwards before we go backwards. All right, this part is review from yesterday's lesson. So if you will please do it right now. What do we call this one? Double distribution. Double distribution. Go ahead and do it now.
I don't want to do a shout out since you're recording.
Sorry, Mr. Munster stopped me on the way because I haven't seen him in forever. I just want to know how things are going.
Okay.
You're wrong, Dad.
All right.
So if not the chicken box, the cordon bleu.
Alyssa Garcia. Okay. Did you guys work it out already?
Oh.
Okay. Double distribution. Work it out. What is x times x? Thank you. Not 2x, x to the second. What's 3 times x?
3x.
All right, and then what's the next thing I distribute?
4x.
The 4, and 4 times x is plus 12. Do the middle terms, are the middle terms like terms?
No.
3x and 4x, are they like terms?
Oh, yeah.
X squared plus
7x
plus 12. Okay. Are we ready? Now, what I want you to do is try to work backwards like we did, like I gave you time on the last one, on the last lesson. I'm going to give you, remember we're working backwards, I'm going to give you the answer, and the answer is going to be the problem. X squared plus 7x plus 12. I'm going to ask you to factor this. Okay. Do we already know what the answer should be? Working backwards, what will the answer be?
X plus 4.
X plus 3. So right now, quietly, I want you to figure out how in the world would I get from this to that. Quiet time thinking. Not only how to get it, but how to explain it to someone, and then I'll let you talk. So quietly you're thinking, No talking. How are you doing?
That dude looks like Peter Parker.
Are you right now?
No, we're not. We're just writing that for fun. Doesn't he look like he's like a Peter Parker or something? In the middle of class, are you
like 4 or 5 years ago?
He looks like he's like 4 or 5.
Damn, I wish I was graduated.
Yes. Okay. Guys. Okay, was anybody able to is anybody, talk, I'm sorry, talk to each other. To each other first.
What do you want us to do?
Suck it up.
Me gusta lemon.
Okay. Guys. Okay, can anybody explain it to me how you would do this? Yes.
Where you add x plus x and maybe x to the third power, and then 7 plus 12. That makes sense.
7 plus 12. We don't add. Okay. First off, trinomial means 3 terms. Does this have 3 terms?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I call this double bubble. That's just what I call it. Okay, we're going to factor this to a double bubble. Guys, please stop. Do you agree that x times x is x squared?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
All right, so that's the first thing you put down. X times x, thank you, is x squared. Do you see that? Okay, the next thing you put down or you recognize is that your last sign is positive. Okay. Do you agree when I do my double distribution, the last number here is multiplying this last set of numbers there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Look at right here. 4 times 3 is 12. Yes or no? Okay. But do you guys agree that 6 times 2 is also 12? Yes? So I'm going to list the factors of 12 right here. What are they? Factors of 12 in order. 1 and 12, 2 and 3 and any others? Is that all of them? Okay. Okay, now I need everybody listening. Listening. Give me 1 second. Okay, actually go ahead and say what you're going to say. Okay. Yes. So yes, this is what you were going to do. That is correct. Guys, I need you listening. Right here. If we know that 6 times 2 is 12, but that's not what we're supposed to use, because it's not 6 and 2, it's what? Okay. So can anybody look here and tell me how you know whether you're using 1, 12, 2, 6, or 3, 4? Yes.
It's still a common factor.
Okay. Actually, it's okay if there's a common factor because they're separated by parentheses.
But 3 plus 4 equals 7.
3 plus 4 equals 7. Is that what you were going to say? Okay. Do you guys agree that 3 plus 4 equals, where's my 7? 7. Yes? Yes. All right.
Does it always work?
Yes. Okay, but it is going to change depending on the sign. So let's do this. I'm going to put my 3 and 4 back in. Here's where it gets tricky. 3 and 4.
Does it really matter which side you put?
It does not. Good question. 3, 4, 4, 3 does not matter. But what matters is your signs. The only way to get a positive number is multiplying either 2 positives or 2 negatives. Do you agree? Mm-hmm. How do I know they're both going to be positive? Because I want them to add up to what? 7x. Do you agree, in order to add up to a positive 7x, these two numbers have to both be positive? It's either both positive or both negatives. Do 2 negatives add up to a positive 7?
No.
No. Any questions on that? We are going to do check work, but I'm not going to do it on this one, only because I did a lot of explaining here. Okay, so what things are you looking for? X times x is x squared. Let's check that. What's x times x?
X squared.
What's x times 4? 4x. What's 3 times x?
3.
And 3 times 4? X squared plus 7x plus 12. Is that what we started with? Please stop. Yes. Now guess what? You do not have to check it all the way like this every single time. I will show you a shortcut. Are you ready? Number 3. Y squared plus 9y plus 18. All right, I'm going to do my double bubble. And what's going to go here? Y and y or x and x?
1.
Y and y, because it's y squared. Does everybody agree that y times y is y squared? Yes? Gentlemen, I need you paying attention up here. Okay, 18. I'm going to list the factors of 18 and list them in order so you get them all. 1 times what? In order, 2. Does 2 go into 18? 2 times?
9.
Does 3 go into 18? 3 times? Does 4?
No.
Does 5? Does 6?
Yeah.
Already have it, so I'm done. Okay, so what did we say? Which ones do we look at? 1, 18, 2 and 9, or 3 and 6? Why 3 and 6?
Because it adds up to 9.
It has to add up to 9. Okay. Now, the only way to get positive 18 is if these two signs are the meaning plus plus or minus minus. I look here and this one tells me they're both going to be what?
Plus.
Plus plus. Okay. Now, I'm not going to write it down because I want to show you the shortcut. What's y times y?
2y squared.
This gives me 6y, and this gives me 3y, which adds up to 9y. And then right here, 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, so here's the how you show your work. Are you ready? Because it's going to say and check, and this is your check work. First off, can we see with our eyes that y times y is y squared? And 3 times 6 is 18. The one you have to check is the 9y, and this is what you do, your shortcut. What's 3 times y?
3y.
What's y times 6y?
6y.
And you add them together, what do you get?
9y.
Is that the guy in the middle?
Yeah.
This is your check work. This is your answer. This is your check work. If you don't like checking like this, then you FOIL the whole thing out. FOIL, combine like terms, and you check it. This does take longer to FOIL. Okay, you guys don't know what FOIL means because I haven't said it. I'll explain later. Double distribution, the whole thing out and check it. It takes longer, but you can do it. This way is quicker. So don't complain because it is the quicker way to check. Let's try another one. Y squared, and I'm going to change that to a z squared. Sorry, z squared minus 11z plus 24. All right, everybody needs to be focusing because these are the ones that kids tend to struggle with more, these trinomial type factoring. Put your double bubble. What do I put here in the first two spots? Z and Z, because Z times Z is Z squared. All right, I list my factors of 11 or my factors of 24. In order, what's the first number that goes into 24? 1 and 24. Please stop. What about 2? 2 and 12. What about 3? 3 and what? 8. What about 4? 4 and 6. What about 5? 6. We already have 6, so we're done. All right, so go through your list. Which one are we going to use? Why 3 times 8? Because it adds to 11. Now here's where you have to be careful. I'm going to put my 3 and my 8. What if you put 8 and then 3? Does it matter? It does not. Now here's where people mess up. First off, what is my last sign? Is it still positive like the last two? Which means the two signs in here have to be the, because the only way to multiply by 24 is if they're positive 3, positive 8, or what's the other possibility? Negative 3, negative 8. How do you know whether it's plus, plus, or minus, minus? You look at your neighbor, the middle guy, and it's negative 11. So would I put plus, plus, or minus, minus? Okay. Is Z times Z, Z squared? Is negative 3 times negative 8 positive 24?
Yes.
And how do I check for the negative 11? I do my little trick here. What's negative 3 times Z? Negative 3z, z times negative 8. Negative, add them together. What's negative 3 plus negative 8? And is that the middle term? Then we're super happy. Let me see our little smiley happy face. We're super happy that we found the answer and we box it in. This is the answer. This is our work. Got it? Okay. Now, nobody's asked it yet, but what happens when that last sign is not positive? What could that last sign be instead of being a positive? What would that mean about these two signs? The same or different? Because the only way to get a negative number is if you're multiplying one positive and one negative. Okay, so let's see when that happens. Number 5, and we are almost done. Q squared minus 2q minus 8. Okay, put your double bubble. And one more time, if you don't like the checking this way, you do have to show your check work. You either check with your happy face or you check by double distributing everything out. Your choice. This way will go quicker, but if you don't like it, then you double distribute and check. Okay, what times what is q squared? Q and Q. List the factors of 8. What are the factors of 8? 1 and 8 and 2 and 4. Okay, here's where the problem starts and you need to listen. And I will tell you guys this. Since you do have to show your work on checking, I said you could do it this way, which is fine, but I will tell you this. Knowing how to check it like this will save you time in the long run. Not now, but in a month or two down the line when we do the harder problems, knowing this shortcut for checking is much easier. Okay. What's the problem here? Does 1 plus 8 or 2 plus 4 give me 2? Why is that? What did I say earlier? Because this is negative, are the signs going to be the same or different? Different, yes. Yes. You were going to ask what? Okay, tell me what it would be.
So I get the 2, 4, and then...
Okay, so 2, 4.
Negative 2, and then positive 4.
Okay, do you guys see what he did?
Well,
I'm going to do it opposite. Plus and minus. Okay, so I'm going to over here. First off, do we agree that 1 times 8 is 8 and 2 times 4 is 8?
Yeah.
But it's really what that we're trying to get? It's a negative 8, right? So in order for it to be negative, one of these has to be negative. Do you agree? Now think about it. Put your thinking caps on. If I want it to be negative 2 to add up, will I want it to be a positive 2 and a negative 4? Or a negative 2 and a positive 4? Which one has to be negative? Negative 4. Do you agree that 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2? So that's why he made it plus 2 here and minus 4 there. Now let's do our check. What's q times q? What's positive 2 times negative 4? Okay, inside gives me what? 2 times q is 2q. Q times negative 4 is negative. Add those two together. What's 2 plus negative 4? Negative 2q. Is that the middle term? Check, it is. And again, we are super happy that we have the right answer. And this is the answer. This is your work. All right, so when you're doing tonight's assignments, we do have one more. Do you want you to see this workspace here? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay, last one you're trying on your own. X squared minus 2x minus 63. All right, double bubble. I'll at least start you off. Q and Q or X and X? And I do have one question for you. According to this negative sign right there, is it going to be plus plus, minus minus, or one of each? One of each. They're going to be different. I would do that first thing on every single problem. Recognize whether they're going to be two of the same signs or two different signs. Jaden, explain to us how we know they're going to be two different signs.
Because you got double negative right there.
Because of the negative right here? Go further. Because it's negative, what does that mean? The only way to multiply to a negative is with a positive and a negative. Cody, what were you going to ask?
I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask, what if the other one on the not the one that you circled, yeah, that one. What if that was positive?
You know what? We do need to make. I am going to change that to a positive since that one was negative. Thank you. I skipped one in my notes and I.
See, that's why I didn't get it right.
Okay. Guys. Okay. We do have to speed this up. So make that a positive 2. 63 in order. 1 and 63. What else? 3 and 21 and 7 and 9. Because they are different, one of these have to be negative. When one of these is negative, which one adds up to 2 or subtracts to 2 really if one of them is negative? 7 and 9. And which one's going to be negative for it to come out to be a positive 2? Negative 7, positive 9. Yes or no? Okay, so x minus 7 plus 9. If you put your plus 9 first and your minus 7 second, does it matter? No. Let's do a quick check. Negative 7x. What do I get on the outside? (9x). And what's negative 7 plus 9? 2x. Is that the middle term? So we're happy and we box in. All right, questions?
Can we back up?